Hey friends, welcome. February 6th, 2025. What if Jesus were physically present in our world today? Not just as an idea in our hearts, but in the flesh, walking the same streets we walk, sitting in the same places we gather, facing the same struggles we encounter every day. How would he respond to modern injustice, heartbreak, and need? Where would he go? Who would he seek out? Each day this year, we are stepping into this question not as a fictional story, but as a real exploration of what it means for Jesus to be alive, active, and present in our world today. Today, he is in Dallas, Texas. Let's walk with him and see the city through his eyes. Before the city fully awakens, Jesus stands at White Rock Lake, where the water mirrors the deep blues and purples of the sky, slowly shifting to gold as the sun rises. The cool air is thick with morning mist, and the sounds of birds waking fill the silence. He closes his eyes, lifting his hands in prayer. Father, give strength to the weary today. Let those who feel invisible know they are seen. Let those who are burdened lay down their worries. Use me today to bring light to the dark corners of this city. The wind carries his whispered words across the water. Then, without hesitation, he begins walking toward downtown. His first stop is the Stew Pot, a non-profit center that has served Dallas's homeless community for decades. The line is already long. Men and women bundled in layers of worn-out clothing, some clutching backpacks with all they own in the world. Others have nothing but the weight of exhaustion on their shoulders. Inside, volunteers move quickly, ladling out hot oatmeal and coffee. Jesus steps into the serving line, picking up a plate and handing it to an elderly woman named Ruth. She hesitates, her tired eyes meeting his. "Bless you, sir," she says, her voice cracking. Jesus smiles, holding the plate steady in her frail hands. "Ruth, you are blessed. You just need to see it." Her lips tremble. She hasn't heard her name spoken with such kindness in years. In a quiet corner, he sits with Charles, a man who served 2 tours in Afghanistan but lost everything when he returned home. His hands shake as he clutches a styrofoam cup, stating, "If God was real, he wouldn't have let me come back broken." Jesus doesn't argue. He simply places a hand on Charles's shoulder. "You are not forgotten. Not by me, not by the one who made you." Charles exhales shakily. No one has ever told him that before. Not like this. As the morning passes, Jesus walks to Deep Elam, a neighborhood buzzing with murals, music, and creativity. A group of young musicians sit outside a coffee shop, talking about their struggles, how no one values their work, how they can't afford to chase their dreams. Jesus sits with them, sipping a cup of black coffee. "Your gifts were given to you for a reason," he says. "Don't let fear or money define their worth." One of them, a guitarist named Malik, shakes his head. "That's easy to say when you're not broke." Jesus nods. "But I've been without a home too." He glances around. People said nothing good could come from where I was raised, and yet here I am. Malik looks at him, something shifting in his eyes. So, you're saying to keep going. Jesus smiles. I'm saying your light is meant to shine. Keep playing. At Dallas County Courthouse, Jesus steps into the waiting area filled with tension. Families sitting on benches, lawyers pacing, a mother clutching her hands together in silent desperation. Maria is here, fighting for custody of her children. She sees him watching her and looks away ashamed. I've made too many mistakes, she whispers, barely audible. Jesus sits beside her, speaking gently. Maria, mistakes don't define you. Love does. Tears spill down her cheeks. I just want my babies back. Jesus nods. Then walk in truth. Be steady. You are not alone. When she enters the courtroom, her hands stop shaking. At Baylor University Medical Center, Jesus visits the pediatric unit. In one room, a little boy named Eli battles leukemia. His mother stands by his bed, weary from too many sleepless nights. Jesus sits beside Eli, holding his tiny hand. Hey there, warrior. Eli blinks at him, too weak to speak. Jesus doesn't need words. He prays, and warmth fills the room. A peace so tangible that even the machines seem to hum softer. Later, the nurses notice something odd. Eli, who had barely moved all day, asks for a bite of food. His mother weeps, knowing something beyond medicine has touched her son. Jesus walks into a corner store in South Dallas, where a mother named Angela counts pennies in her hand, trying to decide whether to buy milk or bread. She sighs, putting the milk back. Jesus steps forward and quietly pays for both. Angela stares at him. Why would you do that? He smiles. Because you are doing better than you think, Angela. Keep going. She doesn't know how he knows her name, but somehow those words sink into her like sunlight breaking through clouds. As night falls, people gather at Clyde Warren Park, drawn by something they can't explain. Some sit on the grass, others stand in the back, unsure of why they came. Jesus steps forward, his voice steady, his presence electric. Some of you are carrying burdens too heavy to bear. It's time to lay them down. A man clenches his fists. He's held on to anger for years. For the first time, he wonders if he could let it go. Love is more than words. It's sacrifice. Love your neighbor, even the ones you don't agree with, says Jesus. A woman shifts. She's held a resentment against a coworker for years. Maybe, just maybe, she could forgive. When you don't know the way forward, trust. The road is uncertain, but I am with you. A young man in the crowd lets out a breath. He hadn't planned to be here, but those words were exactly what he needed. As the city glows under neon lights, Jesus returns to White Rock Lake. He kneels once more, lifting his voice in prayer. for the homeless man who felt seen, for the artist learning to shine, for the mother fighting for her children, for the child in the hospital, for every burdened soul in this city. Father, let them know you are near. Then he rises, looking toward tomorrow, not with fear, but with expectation. Today, Jesus moved through Dallas, not as a distant figure from history, but as a present, active force of love and truth. But this is not just a story. If Jesus walked into your life today, what would he say? Well, I'm going to invite you to come back tomorrow and walk with him again, because he's still moving, and we'll just be in another city tomorrow. Friends, I'd like to say a prayer real quick with you for the hopes, needs, and intentions that you're holding in your heart today. So if you're ready, I'll begin. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. That was beautiful, and this was a beautiful story today. Sorry for my emotional response. Not sure where that came from. Maybe from memories of a childhood where I had a mother that had to make choices similar. You know, some days it was food, and some days it was the electric bill. But we didn't have much when I was growing up, so I think that's beautiful. As a result, I'm going to thank the Lord for this story today. Thank him for allowing it to touch me in this way. It was beautiful. I'll be back tomorrow, friends, with another city, and I think it's going to be great. Hug your family. They love you. And I'll be back tomorrow. Take care. Be well, friends. Bye.